The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Might Be Brews, Season 2, Episode 3, the podcast where we explore the people, places, and brews of the craft beer world. If you're not already, please follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Our handle is @MightBeBrews. Also, you can now find Might Be Brews and all of the other shows on the network on YouTube. Search for, MBN Network?
Yes.
MBN Network on YouTube. Also, the website, you can find all the other shows, mbnnetwork.com. It's never been easier to find your favorite podcast. I love that line.
Oh, I love it when you say it.
I love saying it. Also, we are setting up a Patreon, and Patreon is live now, correct?
It's live.
It's live. So listen, guys, if you enjoy us, if you enjoy any of the shows, we have a ton of content for you. We're going to start doing 90-minute episodes for every show.
Starting today.
So this show is going to be hopefully just like the natural time for me. I always want to go over. I always want to be like an hour-long show or like over an hour long. So finally I'm going to get my wish and get to do an extra 30 minutes. But what else is included? We're going to have 3 tiers, $5, $10, and $15. Is that what it is?
Yep, that's correct.
Yep. So you can do a subscription for either one of those tiers, and they all come with things. So we're going to be giving away some kind of prize just for the $5, as well as all the extra content. And then each time you step up, you get everything from the previous tier plus extra.
Yep.
So please check that out. The best link would be patreon.com/MBN Network.
Correct.
So that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of it right now. You do have to enter in that you're over 18 years old to make sure that you can get the content.
That is the easiest way to find us. People are having trouble searching for it still right now. People are having trouble searching for it. Just type it in directly.
Yeah, go to the link.
Patreon.com/MBN Network. Easy peasy.
Absolutely.
You'll find it every time.
If you're doing it, we really appreciate you. Also, the first, I think I've got a couple hats left. So the first 1 or 2 subscribers to our show, if you let us know that you are a Might Be Brews fan, we're also going to send you an extra hat included with your first shipment from us.
Yep. When you sign up for Patreon with us, whatever tier you're on, it's going to ask you for your address. Don't get weirded out. It's literally just so we can send you free stuff. That's it.
Absolutely. Also for the second and third tier, the higher tiers, you'll get put into a monthly drawing for an extra prize.
Correct.
So it could be anything. It could be a nice glass. It could be a hat.
It could be a set of glasses.
It could be a set of glasses. It could be anything. It
could be a $100 gift card.
Get on it early because there's not.
It could be gold bullion.
It could be.
It could be gold bullion.
Who was that?
Yeah, we got to go around and introduce people. I've been rambling too long already.
Patreon.
We got time. Patreon. Go to Patreon. You're going to get all kinds of free stuff, and you know we appreciate you.
You get the 90-minute episodes.
Yes.
And you don't just get our show. You get the extra half hour from Might Be News, Relatable Radio, Might Be Sports, Novak and France, Foundation Radio, and us. That's 6 different shows. You get an extra half hour. Quick math, that's 700 hours of content a week.
I know, exactly.
Extra.
That's amazing.
It's crazy. And if you enjoy the network, if you enjoy any of the shows on the network, you should at least go check it out. I mean, patreon.com/MBN Network. Just check out the different tiers. It starts at $5. Max is $15. Tons of free stuff. Tons of free content. We're doing behind the scenes stuff. We're doing exclusive Patreon episodes. Like we're going to sit around and talk about Game of Thrones, a few of us in here soon, you know?
Yep.
We're going to just throw that out there. We're doing a fantasy football show eventually. We're doing all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, we're talking about doing some side beer shares and recording that. So a lot of really neat stuff that's going to be exclusively for you for supporting us. But let's go around and introduce everybody. We got to get this show on the road because I feel like I'm still going to end up running over 90-minute episodes. But across from me, as always, Steve. How you doing, Steve?
You have no chance because the music's going to play and the thing's going to stop.
He's going to play me out.
I will cut.
Regardless.
I will do it.
But hello.
Don't make me do it, John. Don't make me do it. I will do it.
I'm really curious to see what happens.
I will do it.
But hello to all the people out there. Good to be talking at you.
And the man behind the board, as always, my brother Taylor.
What's going on?
I'm John. I've been talking for a while already, but I don't think I introduced myself yet. And then we have very special guests with us. If you're a fan of the network, I'm sure you're familiar with Might Be Sports and the co-hosts from Might Be Sports. We've got CJ.
How's it going?
CJ is also the what do you call him? The spiritual guru, the technical director.
Yep.
All kinds of other things. And we also have Mr. Kevin Reevy.
Let's get ready to drink responsibly.
Yes. Mr. Kevin Reevy is also a book author.
Yes.
And that just released recently, right? So why don't we plug that real quick
Right.
for you to our fans?
All right. Two books you got to check out. This Day in Philadelphia Sports just came out. Check that out on Amazon. If you want a signed copy of my new book, The National Book, not that the other one is not important. I wrote that with Brian Startari. He's a great guy. But if you're into baseball and you're not, from the area, not interested in Philadelphia sports, check out Incredible Baseball Stats. Go to theaceofspader.com and you can get a signed copy of that book, limited to 1,000. So check that out. Cool book. People like it.
It's really good, actually. I really, really like it. I'm
Thank you.
I'm halfway through it. I have one favorite team pretty much, but I'm still reading about all the teams, and it's really, really interesting stuff.
It's one of those things like, people tell me all the time, like with either book, I'm halfway through it. Like, that's cool, but it's not really intended to be read that way.
Right.
Especially the This Day in Philadelphia Sports book, which is like, it gives you a few things for each day of the calendar, like what happened this day in Philadelphia sports. It's kind of weird to read that cover to cover.
Yeah, you can't
put it down
yeah.
on your coffee table, in the bathroom, whatever. At work, it's a great thing to have in the office, those kind of things. So, whenever you get a chance, you pick it up. It's a conversation thing. It's cool to have around.
Yep.
Absolutely. Very cool. And I also really dig your shirt. That thing is loud.
Yeah. So,
it's
William
awesome.
Murray.
So
Kind of a big deal.
So are we in a safe space?
We
This
are.
is a safe space, right?
Right.
I've got a confession to make.
Okay.
I would listen to Might Be Sports, and I would hear Reevy talk about the William Murray golf collection.
Yep.
I'd be like, I don't know why this guy's plugging all this William Murray golf collection shit. I don't know what's going on here. When we were recording sports a couple weeks ago when I was behind the board,
Mm-hmm.
it just dawned on me that it was Bill Murray.
Oh, really?
I had never made that
The
connection
comedian actor.
Here's what's crazy.
because I saw the logo and I was like, it's Bill
Right.
Murray.
So everyone,
William. God.
Yep.
I don't know if we've ever talked about, this is all CJ's fault. It's the reason why, and it's no joke. I'm their number one, what do you call it? Buyer.
Customer.
Yeah, number one customer. I have like 20 shirts, 20 pairs of pants, 10 hats, jackets, all kinds of shit. Spent a lot of money, like
Yeah, it's-
thousands of dollars. And
I like their stuff, and I've looked at the website because I've seen advertisements for them and stuff online,
Right.
and it's expensive stuff.
I was never like a Bill Murray fan per se. I was a fan of his, but not like everybody thinks I'm this huge Bill Murray fan. My parents think like, well, you're a big Bill Murray fan. No, this all started one day. Me and CJ are sitting at the bar, and I'm like, you know what? I need like good golf shit, like some nice golf shirts. And he found the Bill Murray site. That day, I bought like 3 things, and I just got obsessed.
That's
I just
hilarious.
kept buying stuff.
It's a nice backstory, actually.
It was like a year and a half ago. You remember that?
Oh, I definitely remember this because it showed up on all the weird stuff I follow, just dealing with who I deal with and what I do. There is a celebrity news article thing, and it was big news. Bill Murray announced William Murray clothing line
Nice.
for golfers. And he goes, I need new golf stuff. So I showed him the link.
And
Well-
it was awesome stuff. And it speaks to me. So whenever they come out, like I've never been a clothes guy or any of that stuff, but I'm into it.
Taylor's created a new sign. We've gone too long without beer.
Yeah,
I've been getting
that's
thirsty.
true.
We need beer.
So we have a new beer sign.
Well, there's a beer sign now.
So guess what I'm going to do?
Get it going.
I'm going to crack one.
I figured you were cracking it.
beer. Crack it.
There's
Wow.
that's
I'm going to
awesome.
crack a beer.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Here we go.
Yes.
That sounds so amazing.
It
should
sounds
be my-
much better over the mic.
Did they have that as like a ringtone?
I'm
Just
sure they
over
do.
and over again?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, my
That'd be cool for
My
like
bosses
a
would
text.
love that.
Right?
So what beer did you crack here, Don?
Toppling Goliath. Fire, Skulls, and Money, I think is the order of it.
Yeah, you've said it like 8 different ways.
Yeah, every time that we ask what
money,
beer
fire,
is-
skulls,
Yeah.
skulls, money, fire, fire, money.
Wait, is this like that song where it's like money?
I don't know.
Is anybody with me right
No.
now?
What song are you talking
Right
about?
now.
Come on, it's like
I'm
something
not sure.
something money.
So
Come on.
our buddy Brett, shout out Brett. He was on the show last week and did a fantastic job.
What's up, Brett?
He actually told me when I was talking to him through chat the other week that he likes this beer better than King Sue. So when we were talking Toppling Goliath, he goes, "If they have this, get it because I like it a lot more." So let's see how it is. Cheers,
Smells good.
everybody.
Cheers,
Let's
cheers,
put them
cheers.
up. Guys, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Nice little crossover episode.
Gotta love a little crossover event.
This is super hazy.
Definitely hazy.
Reevy's got the lingo.
He sure does. This is not his first beer experience with us. At least we were on your show, I think.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, not the other way around yet.
Right.
But this kind of parlays right into what I wanted to talk about, because I was at a bar earlier tonight where the bar was the beer was described as hazy, and it had chunks. It had what would be described as floaties.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What do you feel comfortable naming the beer?
Yes, it was. Shoot, I think it was called In and Out by 2SP.
Yep.
Okay. And it was from a can, I'm assuming?
It was from a can, and I couldn't find anything online directly correlating. There was some other beers by 2SP where I was on Beer Advocate where they said like it would have like quote unquote floaties, not directed towards this beer. And
What would floaties be? Like, what is that?
It's
So-
sediment.
It's sediment. It's yeast
I'm gonna pass
particles.
yeast.
Okay, that's what I
so
was thinking.
this was the bottom of the glass,
Yep.
like a solid amount. So like,
It's a lot, but
so what's the deal? Like, is that like, is that
It's-
safe to
it's-
consume?
It is. It's somewhat common. A lot of these beers, especially the hazy ones, there's a double dry hop process. There's a lot of extra stuff getting put in later in the process that doesn't necessarily get filtered out. So usually that'll settle to the bottom of the fermenters and things and doesn't come out. You know, there's a lot that does get strained out, but some stuff does make it in the cans and through the process. So you can get buildup on the bottom of a can. Like if we shook this up good enough, you know, you might have been able to get a little bit of a snow. We call it a snow globe sometimes
Okay.
because when you pour it, it'll just have these chunks floating. But yeah, that's what's nice about a glass like a snifter, where at the bottom of it, there's a nice little space where any type of sediment that's in there can kind of settle and sit in that spot while you're drinking, and it kind of stays out of the glass. You just give it a minute to settle and drink it slowly.
Huh.
it will not hurt you, though. It's
No,
perfectly safe.
Well, this beer, if I remember, what was the other one called?
King Sue.
Yeah, this is
You
better
weren't a
than
fan
that.
of it. You
This-
thought it was rugged.
It's better than that.
I think it's, I don't know. It's been a minute.
I like King Sue better
I think I do too.
without too much of a pause.
Yeah.
I don't get the severe bite at the end that the King Sue had with this, and that's why I'm giving this 4.25.
4.25. That's pretty high. I'm going to go 3.75. I think it's a decent beer. I think there's a lot of good flavors going on. I like there's some juiciness, but still a little bit of hop bite. The big deal for me, I think, is that there's something happening where it's a little unbalanced. You're getting kind of hit hard and then it drops off. And then, you know, there's some kind of aftertaste finish that's a little juicy, but, you know, it's not as well rounded as the other beers, but it's still good. I'll give it a 3.75.
King Sue was trash.
You're crazy.
Taylor is trash. I'm going 4, straight 4. It's good. I do detect that unbalanced thing you're talking about. I'm trying to quite put my finger on it. CJ, what you got for this bad boy?
I was going to say 3.75 because you get that strong orange taste,
Yep.
but nothing.
Yeah, then it kind of falls off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. That's kind of what I was saying.
All right, so I'm not a sophisticated beer drinker.
That's okay.
So
Neither
this
am
is
I.
out of
You're a sophisticated
5.
person, so I think you'll be
Yeah,
all right.
out of 5.
I actually love this beer.
0.25 increments.
I'm gonna go 4.5 because I'm a little embarrassed to go 5, but it was 5 enjoyable. But wait, what's the name of this beer?
Skulls, money, and fireballs.
All right, so
Fire, skulls,
Fire,
money.
skulls, and money.
Fire, Skulls, and Money. All right, so I looked up the song. It's by Warren Zevon called Lawyers, Guns, and Money. You know this song. Am I the only one who knows this song? Lawyers, Guns, and Money. You know this song.
Maybe if I heard it,
Maybe.
Yeah, if
maybe you're not
heard
doing it much justice at the moment.
people are listening to this right now and they're screaming yes to their Bluetooth stereo.
There's a lot of Warren Zevon crossover to the Might Be Brews audience.
But I seriously wonder if that's like, it immediately made me think of that Fire, Skulls, and Money. Lawyers, Guns, and Money. It's along those lines.
It's in the same
I think
ballpark.
that's it.
I would buy that beer probably just for the name. Like if I never tasted it before.
And it's a badass can.
When I messaged the group, when I was like, "This is what I'm bringing," you're like, "Oh, it sounds amazing!" Like just from the name of it.
It's called Fire, Skulls, and Money, and they have fire, skulls, and money on the can. They deliver their promises.
Sure do.
Straightforward.
CJ and I were cruising around the beer store in Malvern today.
Beer store Malvern.
Beer store in Malvern. Shout out to everybody there because they listen to the show.
That's exciting. I was really surprised. I used to stop in there all the time because I had a job in Phoenixville. So when I would go from Phoenixville back down to Downingtown, I would kind of make that little jog down into Malvern and hit that up and maybe have a beer or two on draft because it's a really nice place. They've got a really nice draft selection. I think they have like specials on a day or two a week where they do cheaper pours. But yeah, it's really nice in there.
It was
Good
neat
people.
just being able to drink a beer and walk around and shop for beer.
Taylor was a little overwhelmed.
I was a
because
little
of
overwhelmed.
Variety.
That's where I was going with it. Is because like
crazy.
I was just looking at cool labels and like reading the names and like
Right.
kind of judging the beer based off that. But like shout out to Jackie over there. She hooked us up with some really cool glasses.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm really excited. I always love hearing about new fans and finding people that listen that you don't really realize. So I'm going to make an extra effort for sure to stop in there and have a couple beers.
You should just check it out.
Absolutely. But thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope everybody does get a chance to go out there and have a pint or two at Malvern Beer Store because
Right over there by the DMV. Go get your license did and get your go get a beer.
I've always thought about actually like having a couple beers and then going in to like retake my CDL test or something and see if I do any better, but I've never gotten the balls to do it.
So now you have to be careful buying beer just because of the labels. So one of the worst beers I've ever purchased was a label purchase, which was the Quinceratops
Yep.
from who made the Quinceratops?
That was
Brooklyn
Yep.
Brewery, and it was not a beer that we enjoyed.
I wish I had recall like this about anything else in life, but I can like remember a beer that I had forever ago and the brewery, what it does, what brewery it was, where the brewery's from, what town they're in. It's kind of stupid how much I retain that information and not anything else cool.
Yeah.
That I actually need. It's only been a week, but I've done like a couple exciting things. Have you guys done anything exciting in the past week since the last episode?
CJ and I were hanging out a little bit at the station tap room, bottle room anniversary party.
We made our
nice.
promised appearance.
We did.
Nice.
Made an appearance. My dog made an appearance, which several people were happy about.
I bet.
The dog had more fans than we did, but
Absolutely.
That's cool, man.
Got to see Phil Murphy. Shout out Phil.
Love Phil
Good
Murphy.
time. My
I
boy
love that guy.
Anthony's. It was a good time. It was outside. They ran out of brisket before we got there. That was a little disappointing.
Ooh, that
but they
is-
had a nice crowd, and it was a cool event for those guys.
I love those people. Obviously, they were on the show before, but we've known them for a long time, and I'm just so. I've always said I've been so thrilled with his success, like so proud of him that he can just like get that thing going, and it's done so well, and then it's turned into another business next door, and they're just doing fantastic. So that's great.
How about you? What'd you have going on?
Well, shit, man, I called into the last episode from Reno and didn't actually do any brewery visits. So I brought a couple beers so we could do the cross country beer share, but I ended up going out the next day and hitting a couple breweries. So I went out to a place called The Depot, which was actually a brewery and distillery. So I don't know, that it looks really cool, but I'm kind of worried like how good can the beer be? And I was looking through the beer list and I ordered a barrel-aged sour.
Okay.
And it was actually fantastic. I loved it. And I had a little bit of food there. But I just left it at one. And I walked just another block or two down to a brewery called Lead Dog. Lead Dog Brewing. Lead Dog, Lead. I was very surprised. I walked into this place. I'm on the West Coast pretty much, Western United States. And they had milkshake IPAs, New England IPAs, and a bunch of other stuff too. But I was surprised because like that style has, obviously surpassed just the Northeast into the New England area and moved out there.
Oh, it's everywhere.
But, I think it's an experience thing too. It was a really cool place. They had a dog, like a husky, walking around in there. They had the bartender was fantastic and like super talkative and willing to, say a lot of things. You know what else was weird? There was a furry convention in town at the same time.
Yes.
So
yes.
You're burying the lead here. You know what else is interesting? That's the most interesting.
I don't think we ever heard why John was in Reno until now.
Yeah. You know what was funny, Taylor, is like...
So, the dog walking around the brewery was not actually a really dog.
I might have been...
dude in a costume.
It could have been. But they were actually coming in off of they were doing like a brewery tour where there was like a bike or something or like a little mini bus thing that would take them around. You ever seen those things where you pedal?
Oh, were they in costume doing the fucking bike?
No, but they all had like furry
that's
shirts
what I was.
on.
That's where I was. That was my
the
next.
closest
step
they got was like there was a hoodie that had like like a furry type hood on it, but they weren't actually in their full costume. But they all had shirts and things on them that let you know. I knew the convention was in town, but I actually got to like see that they were, but I didn't see any full costumes.
Very disappointed there was no pictures of you with the furry community.
Yeah, no. I can look on Facebook. A few years back, there was a furry convention in Atlanta when I was there, and it was insanity. They keep following me.
They keep following you.
Yeah, no, I think it's the other way around here.
Yeah, it was funny. So Taylor knows I got stuck in Dallas for like, I don't know. I was trying to fly home. There was all these crazy tornadoes, and I got stuck. Thank goodness for free Miller Lights in the Admiral's Lounge. Because, that's pretty much what got me through the whole time.
Actually, according to Google, there was a furry convention there. So
where, in Dallas? But anyway, I was thinking about, I ended up getting delayed and I had to stay overnight and it just kept getting more and more delayed. And I thought about messaging you guys and be like, sorry, I fell in love with a furry and this was all bullshit. And I'm actually still out here in Reno and I fell in love. Just to see what you guys would say.
Find out you're into some weird shit like that, dude.
Oh, I would have loved it.
Yeah, right. But anyway, man, Lead Dog was fantastic. All the beers were good. I had an awesome time. Also, what I thought was neat is I got a message from the guy that won their T-shirt from PA Brew Review.
Yeah.
His name's Jesse Fast. He lives out in Arizona, but he's from here. He moved out to Arizona.
What's up, dude?
He actually runs a beer blog. So he's got a Facebook page called Beer Flights. And what I thought was really cool is he just tagged us because he took a flight out to Reno and hit up the breweries that we talked about on the show, or that I posted, I guess, on social media because we didn't talk about it on the last show. But he actually went out there and he was like, he tagged us. It was like, Might Be Brews recommended this. So he kind of, showed us some love and tagged us in front of his people. So I'm going to have to return the favor and call him out. But I thought that was really neat that, so shout out Jesse. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all the support.
So was the convention over when he was there, or do you have a like-minded person?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
that's his furry friend.
Yeah.
Jesse, are you his furry friend? It's okay.
Dude, are you guys furry friends?
Maybe. I might be a furry underneath.
Wow.
I'm picturing my wife asking me about what a furry is, because that's going to happen.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Just Google it.
Yeah.
Some of the weirdest shit ever.
You know what's funny is all the Uber rides that I took, back and forth around
Had furry drivers?
But they were all talking about them. They were just like, they're such weirdos or they're freaks, or I hear that they're getting kicked out of their hotels because they're just humping each other in their costumes, like out in the open. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe that, but
I don't know.
I hear that they're actually cool people.
I'm sure they are.
If you and another furry have had relations with the same woman, does that make you polar bear brothers? Did I invent a thing?
That's interesting. Instead of Eskimo,
that's a thing.
It's
a thing. That's now polar bear brothers. We just made a thing.
That's the furry equivalent to the Eskimo Bros.
There we go.
What? You got another beer?
I do. Real quick, I just want to say that I also have been in Hershey the last few days working.
Oh,
which was really cool. Because right in town is Trogs, but I want to give a shout out to my.
That's where Trogs is.
Yep. And speaking of Trogs, I didn't even realize this. I'm telling you, Steve, you are the king of transitions and segues.
He's uncorking a Trogs beer. That's how
as
you
we're
know
talking
it's
about
good.
Trogs. But listen, dude, I'm telling you, on every show that you were on, and even on this show, you'll just like what else is on the spreadsheet that we're going to be talking about without even looking at it, and you can just bring
I
us
get
right into
very
it.
excited when a beer has to be untwisted and then uncorked. That's just, I don't care what the theme of the beer is. I don't care if it's like, peppermint and Jim Sweat. I will drink that beer if you have to untwist it and uncork. It's just exciting.
But yeah, I just want to say real quick, I was hanging out with my buddy Jeremy, who we usually end up getting beers with every time we're out there. Same with Bob from Taurus Bob, I call him. They're just guys that are in the industry, so we usually end up hanging out for beers. And I found out, I knew Jeremy and his wife listened. Bob told me he's been listening also, so shout out you guys for checking everything out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, Trogs was awesome, and my favorites there was Field Study, is a new IPA they just released. It's a seasonal IPA, but it's fantastic. I absolutely loved it, and then I tried a bunch of other beers too, and Lollihop, which I saw was getting some buzz. I hadn't actually have, but they sold out of cans, so that all that's left I hear is on tap. But Lollihop was fantastic as well.
I really like going to Trogs. Like, I think it's a cool spot.
Yeah,
The parking always bugs me.
I've never had a problem.
We do go at prime times. We usually are up there at Christmas time. We take the kids to Hershey.
Yeah, right.
But that's the only complaint I have. I love the way they have the food bar set up.
Yep.
The kind of snack bar situation.
Yeah.
Always have some good stuff on draft. So what we opened up was the Nebulous Pennsylvania Wild Ale aged in oak barrels. I would assume we have some sort of sour.
Taylor already
Taylor,
sipped
take a
it.
sip.
I just looked over and he's looking at me with this face. His mouth is all puckered up.
Stink face.
It's
Stink face.
so good.
Stink face.
I'll drink yours. It's so good.
Sours are usually very divisive like that. It's an either a really like or a really don't like.
It's a dull sour though. It's
a
not
dull sour?
It's not that strong.
I haven't
it's
gotten into it yet. John's
What's the age on this?
contemplating. I don't know. I do know that I won this beer from the last beer fantasy football league that I ran this past winter.
That's a
I don't know if you
shame.
can find a date on that.
That's a shame.
It was one of the beers I won. I actually was second place. I didn't win the league.
Ah, see, that's why you didn't
2017, I
get good
believe.
beer because you came in second.
I think it's, what, that? 12.7%? Oh, no, you got it. Yeah, bottle 2017. I didn't see it either until he pointed it out.
But that's not too old.
Tastes
For a sour?
tastes like ginger ale, green tea that is flat.
I'm impressed with your palate, actually. That was kind of a neat description.
Is that where you're at with it?
No, look, I really like sour beers. I really like barrel-aged sours.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them. This one's not blowing my mind. I don't think this really fits all that well. It came off with like a strange tartness right up the front, and I think there's this maltiness in there that kind of doesn't fit. And then the barrel too is like a little too sweet to match. I don't know. There's something that's just not flowing right for me, and I'm not a fan of it actually.
There's a vinegary acidity that's not sitting well with me.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But Reeve likes it.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe beers, but this beer had it had a taste of Saturday morning cartoons with just a hint of Sega Genesis, and
NBA Jam.
just subtle notes of plywood, just subtle. They're there. You don't.
What?
You have to have a really advanced palate to be able to tell it's there. But this is why I'm here, to give you that extra little bit.
So how does plywood relate to fresh cut grass? Because I see that on beer descriptions. That always annoys me. Yeah, it tastes like fresh cut grass. So you going out there and eating grass trimmings?
It's gross.
I mean, that's what we do as beer people. Just kidding.
Shit, I missed that lesson.
I give
Can I
it
just-
I give
go
it a
ahead.
2. I give it a 2.
Yeah, I'm probably in the same ballpark. It's like a 2 for me.
I'd go like a 3.
I'm 4 or 5. Once again, I love this beer.
Wow.
I'm a 3.
Can I just say that I think you just brought back a memory for me. I loved Sega Genesis. I wasn't a big gamer, but I had Sega Genesis. I had an N64, and I had like the original Xbox. Right? It was kind of like my gaming systems growing up. But with NBA Jam on Sega Genesis, Michael Jordan was not on NBA Jam that I had. So every
Right.
time you picked the Bulls, it was Scottie Pippen and
Luke Kukoc.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Nice recall.
Tony Kukoc.
Yeah.
Luke Longley. I combined with Tony. It was Tony Kukoc.
Could they not get a Jordan license back then?
No.
Is that what that was?
I think it was also this Sixers. It might have been post Barkley, but they had Clarence Weatherspoon and Dana Barros, I believe.
There you go. Yep.
But there
I
was
usually
there was
went
a
with
bunch
the
of guys.
Magic because I think the Magic did have Shaq.
They did not have Shaq. That's the thing.
Are you sure?
They had Penny.
They had
Penny. I remember Penny was
and
on the
they
team.
had some
Horace was
Horace Grant.
Was it Horace
Yeah,
Grant?
it might have been Horace. There you go.
Right.
I
I
thought
thought
Shaq
Horace Grant was
that
on
one.
the.
maybe
I'm
he was the
thinking about
Which
it.
would
I thought he was
never
thought he was
happen
on the
now.
Bulls.
I guess
Right.
they had an individual player thing where you could negotiate individually for this deal, where you could opt out of like the players agreement. But I'm sure that doesn't exist now.
I think I used to always play with the Jazz too because it was Malone and Stockton.
Yeah.
And Stockton,
That's strong.
the little guy, would hit threes every time. Almost every time. His 3 game was strong.
He's heating up.
Yes.
That was right
Can't buy a
around.
bucket. That was my favorite.
Yeah, it
Can't
was.
buy a bucket.
That was right
Oh,
around the time
memories.
the Charlotte Hornets came out.
Yeah.
And that starter half zip was so popular that everybody would play with
my
Charlotte.
gosh.
Kendall Gill, and who was the other Charlotte
Wow.
guy?
I don't remember that one.
It was
Muggsy
definitely Kendall Gill.
Bogues.
The
Might
starter
have been.
jacket was like the MySpace of sports gear. Like,
Right?
what happened? They had a stranglehold on the market,
And
and
then-
it just all fell apart.
Shit, Teo, did we?
Zubaz
I think
took over.
Either you or I had a Bulls one.
I didn't have a
You or
Bulls
me?
one. I had a.
I had a black and red Bulls one, I think.
I had a New York Rangers one
Yeah,
because Wayne Gretzky played there at the time.
that's right.
I don't want to admit this. I was just going to let it go. I had an Oakland Raiders starter jacket and hat. And do you want to know why? I got it for Christmas.
Really?
I was such as a kid, I wasn't the lone wolf I am now. I didn't march to the beat of my own drummer as I do now with my, William Murray stuff.
Yeah.
I lead the charge on that kind of thing. Back then, I was a follower to every goddamn degree. The dude in my class was a huge Oakland Raiders fan. And I was like, you know what? He's not the most popular kid in school. He's not the least popular kid. He's right there in the middle. That's all I want to be. That's all I want to be, right there in the middle. So he wears a lot of Oakland Raiders stuff. I'll do the same. Actually, I guess it was the LA Raiders at that time. I don't freaking know. So I asked my parents, and they're confused as hell, as they should have been. I should ask my parents about this now. Why did you do this? Why did you
let me
allow
do
this to happen? They were just like, why not? We might as well. This kid's out of his goddamn mind anyway. Just give him whatever the hell he wants.
Actually, Kevin wanted to join NWA, but
You know what that reminds me of?
I wish it was a cool story like that. I wanted to be like a kid who was kind of cool. Not even the coolest kid in school. That would have been okay.
Just kind of cool.
Just kind of cool. That's all I wanted to be. Low expectations.
I remember being in school and my mom was taking me to get new shoes, and everybody started wearing work boots to school. And I thought it was like, that's the new style. And we went and bought work boots. And then it took me like 3 weeks to figure out that everybody was wearing Timberlands.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. And I was just wearing like Walmart boots.
Steel toe.
Yeah.
Probably couldn't even pick
I
up
was
your
like,
feet.
oh, and then people started asking me, like, yo, you got Tims? Are those Tims? And I'm like, what? I don't know what
Right,
it is.
I guess.
And then I think that kind of like did a number on me because then like I had a fresh pair of Tims like every year after that.
Right.
That was like nonstop for the rest of school. But anyway, let's take a little break, guys. We got a lot of stuff to get into. CJ, I want to talk a little bit about the other show you're on, Novak and Franz. We've got a bunch of beer stories coming up. So we'll be right back.
Loud, brash, controversial, and now completely uncensored. Foundation Radio is joining the Might Be News Network. Foundation Radio, exclusively on the Might Be News Network podcast. Just search Might Be News Network to listen and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and everywhere podcasts are found. New episodes every other Thursday.
That's awesome. Welcome back to Might Be Brews.
Oh, man.
I'm making fun of people. We're cracking beers. We're cracking jokes.
it's
That's
rough.
awesome.
It's awesome.
Thanks for joining us. Keep checking us out. Hit us up on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Get us some questions, any beers you want us to try. We'll review them. We'll talk about them. And check out the Patreon page.
And we'll try to get the beers. We'll see how it goes.
We'll give it a shot.
Shout out to John over in Minnesota. He sent me a message and said, I would love to hear you guys review Double Bell Ringer from Victory. And we tried to make that happen. They were sold out of it at Wegmans, and we really just didn't have the time to swing through Victory today to pick it up. But we'll do it on the next episode. It's they just released it, so we'll be able to get it.
Yeah, we'll be good. We'll hook it up and see what it's tasting like.
Shout out Beer Store Malvern again. I just pulled up Facebook on the break and was flipping through there, and they have a ridiculous single cut selection there right now. Look at all those single cut beers they have.
It's a lot of single cut.
So they have a lot of, and we had single cut on the show. I think
I saw those.
I don't think we've ever had a single cut on the show.
I saw those
just,
today.
Maybe I just posted it on social media that every time I get them, I think I got a Weird and Gilly recently, and it's just a fantastic beer. Everything I get from there, I'm like, why don't I get more single cut? It's all delicious.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Let's crack a beer.
Oh man, we're on a roll here.
So we got a little bit more surly.
I'm going to open this very gently.
There you go.
And I'm going to sip on it, and it's going to be fantastic.
We're going to have the Todd the Axeman. Is this pale? Is this an IPA? What is this?
This is an IPA. Todd the Axeman.
That's awesome.
7.2%. And we're sticking with the skull theme, I guess. The beers I brought, I didn't realize it at the time. Fire Skulls and Money. And Todd the Axeman both have ridiculous skulls on the front.
It reminds me of a Viking skull cover.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's some horns in there as well. I see. Well, look, there's actually an axe and there's actually a guitar stock.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what this is in reference to.
I feel like all the beers you've bought would be a tattoo challenge on Ink Master.
Yeah, right. That's what it looks like. That's hilarious. I'm very self-conscious of the way I speak now, guys. Thank you.
Good. If there's anything we could do, it would be make you question as you think, and nothing like thinking and trying to talk at the same time.
At least you're
It always
sitting
works
across
out.
from me this time.
I could have sat over
I
there
know.
and you'd have been totally screwed.
I was going to bring it up, and I was like, if I say something, he'll do it. So I'm just going to sit here.
I
quietly.
could really mess you up and like sit over there directly to your left.
I don't want to think about it. I'm already going off the lines here. All right, everybody.
Yeah, the one secret of the show is this is like inside baseball. Normally these guys are sitting next to each other holding hands the entire show, and it's uncomfortable for everyone. This time they're sitting across from one another, so it's if you feel a disconnect,
That's what it is.
That's what
It's
it is.
there.
I did not wear my fanatic costume, so he's feeling a little off. I'm not furried up.
The furry callback, I love it.
Oh, man.
Speaking of callback, this is like an old school IPA with some bitterness. It's not a New England style juicy haze bomb.
That's the wrong can I just picked up. Can you hand me that? I just
Got
want to check
skulls
the
on it.
bottom.
It's close.
It's got skulls, yeah. Much more fresh. This has got an end of March.
Is this made by the
26th.
same people as
No,
the...
this is Surly. So the guy I just brought up, actually, John, I think it's John Harahan's his name. He's from Downingtown dude. He brews at this place.
What up, John? I know
He
John
actually brews
Harahan.
at Surly in Minnesota. Do you?
Yeah.
I thought you did.
We've
I
been
know
over
him
this.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get this from him. I got this from Brett. Shout out Brett again.
What up, Brett?
Brett's hooking it up. But
Enough Brett shout-outs.
yeah, that's enough Brett. for
Used them
today.
up.
Hi, Brett.
Yo, what up, Brett?
All right, shout
What's
out, Brett.
happening, Brett?
Look at the big brain on Brett.
Look at the big brain on Brett.
But yeah, I like this beer. You're right. This is not hazy. I mean, it's a little hazy, but it's not a juice bomb. This
Right.
is just a really nice, well balanced, awesome IPA. I think this was like, I remember at the start of like me getting into craft beer or getting really into it, that like this and Sip of Sunshine and a handful of others were like those IPAs that you couldn't get a hold of, but they had the reputation because they were so good. And it was before that milkshake lactose style came out.
And now you can swing into Wegmans and pick up your Sip of Sunshine. I won't say regularly, but pretty regularly.
I shouldn't even say this, but this is kind of a trademark for Might Be Sports, where I go on a tangent that means nothing to do with anything we're talking about. Real quick,
Let's go for
real
it.
quick. The big brain on Brett thing. All right, so Pulp Fiction. I've always wondered this: the guy from Mad TV who gets his brains blown out in the back of the the car, where he's like, his like only line in the whole movie is, "Man, I don't even have an opinion." And I always thought he said it weird, and I know for a fact, for months and months, he's staring at himself in a mirror saying, "Man, I don't even have an opinion. Man, I don't even have an opinion. Man, I don't even have an opinion." Because the way, like the one he decided on was so weird. "Man, I don't even have an opinion." Was so weird, but I know he agonized over that.
One of my favorite scenes of like anything. Is that whole part of that movie.
There's that only line, and I remember it so clearly. "Man, I don't even have an opinion." I'm like, maybe not the best choice. It sounds weird.
Them talking about massaging feet on the way up there. He's like, "I'm the foot fucking master. I don't even tickle or nothing."
Yeah. I remember the whole scene, but I don't remember him opening his mouth. I remember him just standing up against the wall like all shook.
He didn't
But I
say
don't
that
remember him saying
until he
anything.
was in the car.
Okay.
Until he was in the car.
And that's what
Right.
he delivered
And then
his
that's when
one line.
that's when he killed him.
And that's like, that's
and then when he turned around?
he was agonizing over the
Marvin,
line.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
What's his name? Marvin, yeah.
You know he was agonizing over it. How would you say it right? I don't think he did, but it worked. You remember that line. But I think, I don't know. It's just weird when you have one line like that in a big movie, and I think he kind of blew it. But nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Did they know that movie was going to be big, do you think?
When you consider who was in it, yeah. But they didn't know it was going to be what it was.
But it was, Travolta wasn't back to being, that was what brought Travolta back a little bit. Samuel Jackson was in it.
I mean,
it was,
so Samuel L. Jackson was actually after, I think, Die Hard 3. So he wasn't a big name yet. But it still had Bruce Willis. It had John Travolta. I think those two. Yeah, a bunch of, I mean, everybody else was kind of up and comers, but I think they had an idea it was going to be big. Or they thought it was going to be like, this is going to be, you know, a bunch of names that aren't there yet, but this is going to be what gets them there.
That's a good movie.
I love it.
Did you
And
see
this
the
is-
trailer for the new Quentin Tarantino movie?
I did. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Can't
Looks so
wait.
good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
This is what I do to podcasts, by the way.
That's all right. I always
It's
enjoy
the
it.
Reeve
Railed
effect.
them.
Hey,
It's
look,
the Reeve
railed them.
effect.
I enjoyed the interview with now I'm blanking on the name.
Preston?
S.
No.
Preston.
That's Preston?
No,
Roller
Jeff Varnum.
Oh, yeah. That
That's-
was
I
the
follow him on
Survivor guy?
Instagram now.
Is that the Survivor guy?
Yeah, the Survivor guy.
We constantly consider that our best interview.
Yeah.
I was yelling at the podcast like Jeff Varnum, and you were like having trouble recalling him.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm bad with recalling names, and especially when I have drinks. And it's my new thing with the sports podcast. I got to drink less beer. And last week, I didn't have that much. I didn't eat that much. I drank like 2 beers, and I was already like brain
Jacked.
dead. So I got to drink less during the sports podcast. But yeah, Jeff Varnum, what a guy. And that interview was amazing.
It was.
You can go back and, you know, anybody out there wants to listen to it, might be sports, search Jeff Varnum. If you want insight onto Survivor, reality TV in general, if you have any interest in how TV works,
Look what you've done, John.
Look, I know, but honestly,
Get
it was
into it.
it was a fascinating interview. Like, I don't watch Survivor, but I know what it is, and it's really neat to hear like what goes on
Yeah, no,
behind the
it
scenes.
was
and-
really interesting.
and how the producers
Right.
sway the show.
The
and
coolest thing
it's
for us
fascinating.
about that interview, and we talk about it all the time, is that we were only really supposed to talk to that guy for like 10 minutes.
Right.
And like, we just kept going. Like, we were having so much fun talking
we-
to him. It was great.
and he had like a controversy, which again, we won't get into.
Right.
But there was a controversy. We
Yeah,
said, like,
right.
you know what? We don't want to get into it. We told him that beforehand. Like, that's been done. We
Right.
discussed it. And we got the distinct impression he wanted to talk about
Yeah,
it again.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
we were the kind of the ones like,
We
all right, well, have a good night, man.
Yeah, bye, thanks.
But I mean, that means like we're not like professional enough to like roll with it. We just, in our minds, we're like, we're not going there.
Right.
And then when he actually kind of wanted to go there, we weren't savvy enough to just like
Jump right on it. Like, so you
Right.
did this, and it was
Yeah.
horrible.
we didn't know how to.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that would have been a horrible way to bring it up. But I mean,
And then he would have explained himself, and I would have been like, that's awesome.
right? It would have made the interview so much better. But what it was just great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So it was great for what it was, and I'm cool with that.
speaking about that's awesome. Let's talk about the beer that we cracked.
Love it. I
We got to
love
give it a little
Yeah.
little rating.
No, I love what he just did. He just transitioned into it.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
It's great.
Crack it.
I was gonna try to reel you in a little bit. Be like, come on, dude. We got to rate the beer.
We got to read the beer.
I'm just
This
kidding.
is what I do. I told you. This is,
But hey, it might be brews.
It might be.
Might
I think
be.
we're doing a good job plugging
we
the
are.
other shows on the network. I think it's okay to do that every once in a
I
while.
think we're just having fun.
We're having a good time with our other
We're still
podcast
rating
buddies.
beers. Rate
We
the
are.
beer.
I'm going 4.
You're going 4 on this one?
It's great. It's a really good beer. I kind of wish that I got some more.
I like it. I'm probably going to go 3.75 on this one. Just because, like you said, it's that bitterness, and it's not my favorite thing about IPAs. Like, I'm just not, I should say that's one of the things that I don't particularly like about IPAs.
Yep.
But it's all up front. Like, after you just get past that, it's a little bit, it's good. It's good beer.
I'm actually trying really hard to go out there. I've got a trip scheduled for a trade show in
The Surly
Minnesota.
place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen like pictures and videos of the facility. It looks incredible.
Really?
Plus, we got a buddy there, so I'm going to try to see if
Should.
can't meet up.
That's John Herring?
Yeah.
What up, John?
Yeah, I'll go 3.75. It's a solid IPA. I'd definitely like to try some more Surly beers.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I'd say 3.75. It feels like it's missing a little bit, but it's overall good.
All right. Fair.
I will go 4.5 once again because it's a beer and it's fantastic and I love it. And
Sensing a theme.
I'm not gonna. It's good,
It is good. It is good.
and I'm not really good at rating beers. I'm good at drinking them.
How many more beers are we supposed to get done in the next 15 minutes?
Well, let's go ahead and crack CJ's. If you don't mind taking the mic there as you're pouring it, crack that baby open, and let's get to know CJ a little bit.
All right.
CJ, we introduced as the spiritual guru and the technical advisor of the network, but you're also on a show called Novak and Franz.
Yeah.
So tell us about Novak and Franz. Who are they and what do they do?
All right. So then personally.
Yes.
So, you would know both of them from Jackass fame, Viola Bam fame. Franz is more behind the scenes. Novak's in front of the camera. And they also wrote a book together called Dream Seller
Right.
and a graphic novel called The Brandon Novak Chronicles.
Nice. Very cool. So you guys get into all kinds of things. Obviously, they talk about a lot of the being on MTV, the Jackass movies, things like that. Novak is a recovering addict, so he talks about recovery as well as all the crazy stories and things that he's done while he was a heroin addict. But I really enjoy that show. Novak's obviously got the crazy stories, but I'm just super impressed with Joe Franz's mic skills and his presence on the show. He just does a really good job on everything.
He does.
And he's entertaining to listen to. But I'm just, doing the show and me fumbling through sentences week by week and listening to a guy like that do a show is, he just does a really good job.
Yeah, he's great.
So here's kind of a teaser for what the next episode's going to have. Taylor's been with me part of the day, so he's dealt with some of these phone calls.
Right.
So today, Brandon Novak has met his hero, Pete Doherty.
Who's Pete Doherty?
He is in the band Libertines and Baby Shambles. He's now on a tour with a collection of musicians. And Novak has flown from Amsterdam to Switzerland to see him
Wow.
perform tonight and got backstage and met him.
That's cool. Good for him. I have no idea what any of that is.
Very
but,
interesting music. I've checked it out. It's
Nice.
It's good. Yeah, it's different, but it's good.
Well, anyway, I guess I just want to reiterate that we've got a lot of really awesome shows with these guys here on them. So make sure you're checking out the rest of the network if you're not, because we got a lot of good content. But let's go ahead and get into these beers. What did you bring for us? Did you already tell us what this beer was?
No,
Okay.
he didn't
No,
tell us
I
on
didn't.
air.
It's the New Belgian Lips of Face series from The Clutch.
Right off the bat, I haven't taken a sip yet. Strong indications of a 4.5 rating from me.
Let me take a look at this
Just got the look of a 4.5.
So it's a collaboration with New Belgium and the band Clutch.
I don't know much about the band Clutch, other than I feel like there's a correlation between them and like Bam and Jess Margera. Like they wear their shirts and play their music on.
One Clutch is referred to usually as hippie metal.
Okay.
just for their hard sound. But so Jess plays in a band called the Company Band with Neil Fallon, the singer from Clutch.
Okay.
So that's the whole fitting in
Gotcha.
there.
It says best enjoyed by May 6, 2018. So I guess we're living dangerously on the edge. This must be at least 2017.
Well, that's what I was looking in Untapped to try and figure out which year it is. I see a 2013, a 2011, a 2015. I see a 2018, a
All
2016, all clutches.
Wow. Very cool.
There's one without a year. I think I'll just check into that one.
Yeah, there we go. What do we got to do to get a collaboration beer going? Who do you think would be a good candidate? We got to hit up some local breweries and see if we can't get a collab beer going.
What about La Cabra?
I love them.
You gotta get out.
I want to
should get out there more.
I know. Me too. I'd really like to talk to them, but
Let's get a Levante beer.
I think we could get a Levante beer.
Let's get a Levante beer.
We should try to.
Especially they're opening up the new Highland Orchards joint this weekend.
I'm actually trying to go. I was talking to Joey K. See, we might try to meet up there sometime this
If you were to
weekend.
if you were to do a collab beer, what kind of beer would you want it to be?
I was going to ask you guys because I don't know.
I want it to be like the fudgiest stout.
I would be all right with that.
Fudgy Wudgy style.
Fudge. Like not chocolate. I want fudge.
Like I want the thickest mouth feel.
What are you talking about right now?
This what we're drinking right now is a stout. I want it to have like the most delicious, decadent, and
Fudge?
delicate fudge.
With some whiskey.
Delicate.
Whiskey.
Want some whiskey barrels.
Delicate
Tim,
fudge.
Jim, if you're listening,
Can't even fucking look at
let's
you.
Unless
The delicate part is what gets me every time. Delicate.
I want it to be I want it to be delicate. You know what I mean? I want that delicate fudge.
unless we somehow hone in on the Highland Orchards thing and try and get a apple cider milkshake IPA kind of thing going.
that would be incredible. I'm not crazy on milkshake IPAs. That's my only thing, but that might be the right vessel to handle the apple cider donuts.
And I saw they made an announcement today that they will be dog friendly.
Very excited.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
I'm definitely trying to check that out.
Yeah. Very cool.
What do you rate this beer?
This beer's good. I'm thinking like 3.75. It's good. It's not blowing my mind. Maybe because it's older, like a lot of the sour maybe has fallen off. I usually like a real tart sour beer, so I'm not getting much strongness, a lot of strong flavors that way. But I really do like barrel sours. I kind of think that they do a good job balancing each other out and playing off of each other, and I appreciate the style.
I went 3.5. I felt like I should have either gotten more stout or more sour.
Is this a stout too?
It says sour stout.
Yeah,
It
okay.
does. I'm the layman here, but it does feel like there's not as much stout as I would have expected.
I am getting that
Still a
chocolatiness.
4.5 from you though, Kev.
Strong 4.5. Very strong 4.5.
I would venture to say this is a 4 for me. I've never had a sour stout before. I believe this is my first one, but I like the mix. I never even thought that existed, but I would drink that again.
I'm saying 4.25. I've had it on draft before. I don't know if the age or the draft is bringing it down a little, but there used to be a little more of a kick to it. Or last time I had it, there was more of a kick.
What do we got to do to put you into a 4.5 right now? What do we got to do?
Sounds like a used car salesman.
Right?
Go get me a fresh one on draft, and we'll compare it.
What do we
And
got?
might be there.
What do we got to do to get you in the Kia today?
We are so close. We're only 0.25 apart. Come on, CJ. It's a 4.5. It's a 4.5.
Drop it to a 4. CJ.
Age might have a factor here.
I was talking with someone today who gave this a 5.0. It is a deal. It is a deal at 4.5. Let's do this.
He is a used car salesman.
What are we talking about? 0.25? Let's just call it a 4.5. Just call it a 4.5. Just do it.
So I was expecting reading this a wood-aged imperial sour stout that it would just taste like an infected beer, and it doesn't.
Definitely, you're right. You're definitely right about that.
It's a solid beer.
It's definitely solid.
I like it.
Yeah,
I might
good.
pour a little bit extra.
Go ahead, get in there.
All right, so we got a couple stories to talk about. There's a couple.
Got about 5 minutes left for the normal crew.
Really?
Yeah.
This is really interesting. This new format. We'll see what we can get done.
Well, normally we wouldn't have. We'd be more probably on track a little bit. We're just kicking it.
Yeah, we're just kicking it. So,
Normally, we wouldn't talk about Pulp Fiction. So
yeah,
Correct.
Fiction and Survivor
Correct.
for that long, but
Correct.
that was my fault. I brought that up.
True.
We may have talked about
clock's
this on
ticking.
an episode. I can't remember, but there was a bunch of breweries and veterans in the area got together and brewed a beer for Memorial Day that's brewed all by veterans from different breweries around the state. So it's Pennsylvania veteran brewers. I think it's actually releasing today. It's in our time space continuum is Thursday the 23rd, but it's going to start pouring this weekend for Memorial Day. So keep an eye out for it. It's going to support the Pennsylvania Veterans Foundation.
Where can you find it?
At a lot of different breweries.
Okay.
Because they all collabed on this together, I think it's releasing at a bunch of them. Just a handful. There's a lot here. Second Story, Aston Abbey, Blueprint, Collusion Tapworks, Gearhouse, Imprint, McAllister, Root Down is probably one of the closer ones to us. Tattered Flag, 10-7 Brewing. And also shout out to a fan of the show, First Sip Brew Box. That's a veteran-owned company. They do a subscription box for like brewing type stuff. And he's a veteran also, and he was a part of this project, as well as Breweries in PA, who shout out to them because I get a lot of content for the show off of them. So I appreciate everything you guys do. But I thought it was really interesting. I'm looking forward to maybe run into it this weekend.
I think that's a cool thing when breweries collab and release beers for a cause.
Yep, absolutely. I'm looking at the article, though. This is just talking about the release, and I don't see anything about what kind of beer it is or anything like that. But, go out and look for it. The next thing, have you ever been to Hollow Earth?
I have not been there. I've had a couple beers from them, but I've never been there.
Have you been there?
Oxford?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've had beer. Same thing, Steve. I've been there, or I have not been there, but I've had a lot of beers from there. All the beers are fantastic. I just read an article that they're actually closing their location in Oxford, and they don't have another location.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So it looks like they're saying that the closure is not the end of business, and what they're trying to do is just take a step back so that they can take 2 steps forward. So they're closing their location in Oxford. They want to be able to brew more beer, do a better job with distribution, and have a much better, larger, friendly location. So it's kind of weird to think about that they're kind of doing this, like disappearing for a little bit before they come back. But I really like their beers, and I'm excited for them. I hope everything works out. And
It sounds like they're copying and pasting Boxcar Brewery's letter.
What did Boxcar do? I know they disappeared. They ever come back?
No, they're gone. Everything's gone. They closed the brew pub and they were going to do distribution.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
And then they just never came back?
Then they just went belly up.
I wasn't ever crazy about their beers anyway. But I like their food. It was a cool spot.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't. They had
a good poutine menu. I like poutine. I order poutine if I see it.
They have a poutine menu?
Like they had a whole bunch of different poutines on the thing.
They had they opened up a little beer garden kind of spot in by Brandywine Outfitters, kind of like that South Coatesville area.
Yeah.
That was a cool little spot. They would usually have like a food truck. Their beers were just okay. They never had a beer that was like, I really want to get that one. I really want to get another one of that one.
Right. I don't know. This was on the sheet from last week. Did you guys talk about the stolen van?
We did not talk about the stolen van.
I thought this was really funny. There's a brewery called the Unknown Brewing Company, and they've got a van that they use for the brewery, and it was stolen. They couldn't find it. It was actually stolen by somebody, but they put it out online and said, we will give free beer to whoever finds it, whether it was you or not. Return it, no questions asked, and we'll give you guys a bunch of free beer for it. They got that van back in 42 minutes of posting. Online.
42 minutes?
42 minutes.
wild.
They're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they offered a keg party. That's what it was, to whoever found it. So there's the music, man.
That's the music.
That's very different. Listen, guys, everybody that's listening, we appreciate you so much. I can't tell you enough. we are about to go onto our new segment.
Yeah, if you want to continue listening to the show, go to patreon.com/MBN Network.
Sign up for a subscription. We got 2 or 3 more stories to go over. We got 2 more beers to crack.
Yeah.
But if you're just hanging with us for the regular part, we still appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening.
Absolutely. This is just a new thing that we're doing. Again, patreon.com/MBN Network.
We gotta come
Easiest
up
way to
with
go
a
do
cool
it.
name for like the second part of the show. Like I know one of the other podcasts calls theirs like a certain name, and I think like we should come up with a really sweet name for
You should.
like, you know,
Blackout time.
yeah,
Right.
blackout.
But thanks for listening.
We're gonna get crazy with the next part. It's gonna be insane.
Keep listening.
John's furry happy time.
Yeah. Only for the subscribers. I'm going to get into that.
Patreon.com/MBN Network.
They've
Please do
been
it.
controlling me so far, but now I'm off the rails. Let's
Right.
do this.
Let's do it.
So where are we at right now on the time? Are we actually into the second part?
You're at
is
1 hour.
1 hour.
Exactly.